Everyone, I'm MegaMan6564, and welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we started episode 5, and in today's episode, we are going to continue on. Okay, how did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice, yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of a wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Skye, you remind me a lot of Mia, but there is one decisive difference between you and her, and that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. Alright, my first tray without a Fae helping me. No one's gonna bail me out this time. So I have to discover the truth by myself. Let's do it, right? I'll be with you the whole way. There's my drink. Looking for it. Alright, one moment. Let me just open this. Alright. Court is now in session for the trial of Lana Skye. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Alright, everyone's favorite matchup. Wright versus Edgeworth. Alright, I hope the personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There is a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. Prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen. Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. Judge is really wolfing it down. Ah, and for you I have a fiesta bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? And you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. Pickled tapioca, oh my. Name, profession, now. Me? The name is Angel Starr. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness, please describe the incident to us. Prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth had said to the court, I am a professional. What does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Starr was a detective? Ah, I know who you are. Cough up. Cough up queen, Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well, you may continue with the description, Miss Starr. If I might have the court's attention over here. Parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A, for the prosecutor's office personnel, and B, for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the two. That's supposed to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor's spaces. Crime took place by a car in the back of A in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with a knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness and an arrest was made on spot. And who is the valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Okay, so we got we got floor plans. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright, I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are willing to accept the truth. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, give them your worst, Miss Starr. Wait, are they talking about me? Okay. Somehow I always knew this day would come. I was on the way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective instincts working. Then through a wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garage car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her hand, then she thrust the pointy tip into Detective Goodman. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend, how touching. As you can see, there's no room for doubt. Key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. I don't get her first one, though. How did she know that this day would come? It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well. You may cross-examine. I'm pressing her on the first statement because something that just, it doesn't feel right. How would she know this day is coming? Alright. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. Lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted, given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their will. Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt I had found my dream job when I became an investigator, and if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro. As you know, my testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well, you may continue. Okay. The boyfriend, he's the detective? Not that boyfriend. You have several? Oh my, this, that, and the other. Care to join? The yet another is still open. I'll stick with the lunch. Note to self, the judge to think before replying. Security guard room is in the lot in Block A. It's up on the second level. Room with security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. Huh. Through a wire frame, okay. By garish car, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes? Mr. Edgeworth's. Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Edgeworth's, wasn't it? Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you were sure it was the defendant. I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I'm certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always complain. Witness, in your testimony you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms, ergo, you're a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me, I'll fry you like a fritter, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism. I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph. You took this? The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. It's more exciting than just hanging around your neck. This is my first time seeing this photo. You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. Indeed it is. That's unmistakably Lana Sky. So what was the defendant doing at the time? Interesting. Huh. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, let's look. She's wearing gloves. No, she has diddly squat in her hands. You witnessed this? You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with the knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon roll lunch. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photo. This is the photo you took of the very moment. So why is Miss Sky not holding a knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. Let's be a little more careful with our evidence, shall we? It is you that needs to be more careful, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. It was taken the moment after the stabbing. How can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stain on the coat? Sure. It's a black and white photo. Ah, yeah, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Ed, I see no problem here. No problem except you. Mr. Ed, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea? Huh. Sure, let's raise an objection. That contradicts what the witness said in her testimony, namely that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it. If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. Not sure I understand it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the prosecutor's hands in the photo. Those are gloves. Surgical gloves made of thin rubber. She's wearing them because she wants to avoid suspicion. No fingerprints. Okay. The murder was planned, the rubber gloves prove it. But the knife. How would this be premeditated, though? Alright. Do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know? That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon, a red car, all belonging to the prosecutor there. The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Are prosecutors bad people? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated Lana Sky planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. Gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon? Because she probably wanted to pin it on Edgeworth, is what I'm guessing. Knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. Oh. Order, order, order. Now the tide is in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide had turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah! Prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. And that's the only thing the prosecution needs to prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If she wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now? Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. But... hold up. Death due to one knife wound. I call BS on that last statement. If I order pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? In any case, the defense may now cross-examine. Alright. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure Chief Prosecutor had a grudge against him. Hold it! Hello? Oh. Hold it! No? Hold it? Hello? Sorry for that, that probably murdered your ears. I wanted to see if the mic would work. Did you find fault with something of substance? Note to self, Edward's sights smell like citrus fruit. Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection. Anyways. Objection. You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this. But take a look. The autopsy report states the death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness? You got the crime scene set, right? Oh, thanks. You're saying you mistook something for blood. When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her feet, or her hands, splattered blood from the victim. Then tell us what you saw. Testify. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. I'm going to assume a muffler is a scarf. If you look at the picture, she's not wearing a scarf. Witness is not suited for detective work. The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you proved it yourself with this photo. But that can't be. Only a true professional could be so clueless. I'm sure you'll make a good lunch lady, have no fear. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection, chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something red, really. Well, now where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, now back to business. Very well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The part where your sister stabs the victim. Alright. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. Was there not a chain fence, though, between them? Don't bother me with details unless you're going to get bitten. No thanks. Tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one? A leopard woman. Roar! Okay, I'm pressing her on that second one, because there should be a chain fence between them. And actually, now that I think about it, her picture didn't have a fence on it. So was she truly on the other side of a fence? Okay, you say quickly, were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details. Press her, press her. I'd like to see this on the floor plans just to be safe. Lunchland cart was... She was a visitor that she parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it about 30 feet, yes? Is that correct? Yes, that's right. But there's a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing. Coffee queen, lunch lady, athlete indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb, though, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. That fence was about 9 feet high as well. How come Miss Sky didn't get away? Okay, if she mentioned the muffler, let's see. She mentioned the muffler, what did she say? If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just one word. So what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else. Yeah, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? You mean the cell phone? Let's ask further. By the phone, do you mean the cell phone? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory. It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see? No, the court doesn't see, Miss Tar. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. The emergency phone. Apparently it was out of order, and so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing. You should, of course, add this to your testimony. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. She gave up trying to use the phone on the wall and just used her cell phone. But how could she have seen the emergency phone? Where are those floor plans? Objection! I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me and I'll make you cough it all up. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. Order, order, what is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you'll allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. The witness lied about... where she saw it. She tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. It would be pointless for her to lie about it. Pointless to lie? I see. The witness did actually see Miss Sky using the phone. In other words, Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? The security room. At least that's what I'm thinking. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed, the security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second level so you can see the entire lot. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. In your testimony, you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room. Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of man? To think that the tables could be turned. Today a man has got the better of Angel Starr. Order, order. Witness, what have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. She could have just said that she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. Oh, there was a fence there. Okay, I thought there wasn't. The truth still stands. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Starr witnessed the crime from here, but she lied and said she saw it from here. It must make a vital difference, but what? What would change? The, the distance. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plan and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she would see. What she saw is not in question. What matters is the time it would take for her to reach there. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested, Sky? Yes. You ordered the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend? He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. Before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene, but the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Yeah, okay, we know it's locked. So she ran all the way around. I call bull. It's quite a detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably, but it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? Huh. Well, I mean, I don't get how she wouldn't have left, you know. You could make pasta in that amount of time if you like it al dente. I've got lunch boxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Oh. Alright. Well then. It seems we've come to the end of this testimony. She has a grudge against the defendant, and there's a blank in her testimony. Edgeworth is the next witness ready to go. Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on her account of her professional history. We screwed that can shut right. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned, and with that, court is adjourned. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered squid wheels, right? I prefer to not take the defense's team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? Another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. My, oh my. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene, and now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One, of course, was the victim's, and the other was the defendant's own blood. This shoe proves that it's flawless, decisive evidence. There was blood? Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You should know the 2 rules of evidence law, Miss Starr. Number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, the shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Edgeworth. Ugh. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. Well, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Oh, he. I want to look at that shoe. Okay, hang on. Bloods by sisters, it appears so. Right hand. Cut herself at the time of the crime, poor sis. Huh. Oh, what the hell? There's blood here too on the sole of the shoe. It's gotta be the victims. Must have stepped in a puddle. All this blood is horrible. Blood might be an important clue. Yo! The shoe proves it. It proves diddly squat, girl. Oh, there was defendant's blood. I call BS there. Objection. The evidence clearly reveals a contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. How exactly are the evidence in the statement just now related? They aren't, are they? What? Not at all. Oh, whoops. I meant to press, not object. Oy. Okay. You ordered the peppered fish guts? I have a problem with the shoe. There's a problem. You're still young, rookie? Huh. I'd give you a pepper fish cut now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem. I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie, or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of his shoe? Well, look at the photo. There's no blood there. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then isn't it strange why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about the shoe. The picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. If there were bloody footprints, they would have been found. We checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order, order, order. Well, witness? What? Great going, Mr. Wright, but... Ooh. Why wasn't there a footprint? What's the reasoning? I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. I see. Now I get it. Yeah, what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There's one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that? Not sure I like your attitude, Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was that oil drum empty? Oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? Still don't get it right? You want to know the reason she kicked it over? The real reason? Aha! You don't mean the suspect knocked over the oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstain that would become evidence against her. Wow. Wow. That ties things up nicely. Bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie are quite clearly to this murder. After the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecution specialty, erasing evidence. So my sister's blood on the shoe, that's when it happened? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something. Please. What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it. But... enough. There's no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor? Very well. But Angel Star is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh, me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. Wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else. You've reached your verdict, Your Honor. Any further comments will be held in contempt of the court. Your threats don't scare the cough of Queen. Look at this. My goodness. A photograph. I had this just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. Oh my. I see no room for error in this evidence. Look at the asphalt. Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trait of doubt from courtroom's mind immediately after the murder, this crime scene was washed with water. I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right? What or not, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt, take another good look. Don't give up, not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well, this time I'd like to declare a verdict for good. Oh my. Your Honor, wait, what is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it'll be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. The trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah. Yeah, there's a problem. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court what the problem is. Well, what the hell is this here? It's not a good picture, but the problem with this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth, Your Honor. You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photo. A muffler is also a part of on a car or a motorcycle. Just think of it as a part of the exhaust system, a pipe. And I see... what's that suspicious looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth is related to this case. Take that. Take her phone. Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Oh, yeah. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Well. Well, it seems we'll have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I find myself wondering about the piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me the cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Phew, that was close. But we made it. At least for now. Court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. He's still hungry? He ate the caviar. He ate the double-decker. Oh, to be continued. Oh. Oh, okay. Well, I guess in the next episode we're continuing after the recess. So, I guess that's it for today's episode. On the next episode, like I said, we'll be continuing. So, I'll see you all then. Until then, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and so long for now.